Hello, and welcome to Tales from the Twists, a podcast where we like to talk about Round the Twist, an 80s, 90s, and early 2000s children's television show from Australia. My name is Joe Lewis, and today I'm joined by my co-host, as I am always on this podcast, Anthony Bull.
Oh, hey Joe, how's it going?
I'm very well today, how are you?
I'm pretty good, feeling pretty well.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Are you sure?
Yeah. Just went to the dentist.
Yes.
Just had some fillings done.
Yep, and you may have been put on... What did they put you on?
I don't know. It's like,
What's the word for it?
It's weird. Like, okay, I felt like I was attacked or something while I was in the dental chair. I was just getting like my teeth all looked at and stuff. And then he's just like, I don't know. He's like this needle. I just feel this needle go into my gum, and I'm like, what the fuck? I didn't sign up for this, right? So they get a needle in my gum, and it's like, oh, we're just gonna do some fillings now. And I'm like.
It's an anesthetic, right?
Yeah, and I'm like,
local?
Yeah, local anesthetic. I'm like, oh, okay, sure.
But you didn't ask for it. You just gave it to you.
I didn't ask for it, but then I maybe I did say okay. I don't even know what the hell is happening. So then it's like that, and this woman's holding me down. It's like, it's okay, it'll be over soon. I'm like, okay, just keep injecting me with that then. And then the guy's drilling into my teeth, and I'm like, ow, 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 ow. It still fucking hurts. So he injects me again, and I'm like, well, shit, it's like a double dose because I have really sensitive teeth, and so I feel pretty good.
So. Please excuse Anthony's behaviour on today's podcast because he has been drugged and is not in his right mind.
No, I'm not. Well, which would probably put me in a better mind than I normally am.
Probably.
Who knows?
That's besides the point, isn't it?
Yeah, you never know.
Today on the podcast, we're here to talk about Smelly Feet, which is an episode of Season 2 of Around the Twist.
I'd say it's the most anticipated episode.
I would not say
no,
that's
not
the
the
most anticipated.
the most built-up episode.
Okay,
Has the most foreshadowing of any episode I've ever seen of Around the Twist ever.
All throughout Season 2, we've had this build-up about Bronson's smelly feet. So what's going to happen? Bronson's feet are smelly. Something's going to happen. And this is the episode where it happens.
Yep, I expected his feet to be amputated.
Did you?
Well, I mean, he hadn't washed them for like 6 months, but...
Yeah, well... What are the prerequisites for gangrene? I'm sure he's fulfilled at least one of them.
I don't think you just need an infection in your foot.
Yeah?
Yeah, I guess so. I mean, but I guess you have to have an open cut. I don't even know. I'm not a doctor.
Let's break this down. He hasn't taken off his shoes in 6 months.
Yeah.
So his feet have become really smelly.
Yeah.
Probably because of some kind of fungus, right?
There could probably be, probably a fungus. Oh, actually, it's probably a bacteria. It's bacteria.
Bacteria?
Yeah, bacteria creates like, okay, so sweat causes an environment on your feet that allows bacteria to grow. And they produce, I forget what it's called, I can't even remember, lactobacillus, bacteria, lactobacillus, something like that. Lactic acid, basically. Okay. So you get like this awful off-butter smell.
Yes.
And that's caused by bacteria in your feet. But more importantly, chances are it's going to have water or moisture on his feet. Probably going to grow fungus in his toenails. You're not even going to notice. Then it's going to get infected. That's probably where you're going to get some gangrene.
Okay.
What the hell is wrong with you, Bronson?
Well, he's 7. About 7.
Okay, so
probably not making the most intelligent
What is wrong with you,
Tony
Twist?
For not forcing him to wash his feet. Well, Tony knew it was an issue, and he didn't do anything about it.
Such a terrible...
Bad parent.
Yeah. Bad parent is the best way to say it.
So, we're about to dive into the episode itself. But before we do, last week we were talking about... more fan feedback in our episodes, right?
Yeah.
And we've had a fan contact us. His name is Regan Pontillo. Apologies, Regan, if I'm pronouncing your name wrong.
We're going to call you Regan.
Or Pontillo.
Named after the US's greatest president.
Okay.
I just said that to piss some people off. But yeah, no, we'll call you Regan because it seems like that's what you should say.
We'll refer to you as your name.
Yeah.
And thank you for sending us in a very lengthy document, which unfortunately don't have time to go through all of it on air, but... We've chosen some of his notes, which are actually really good.
Yeah, like we were reading through and like we didn't see that, and there was this one that we're going to read through.
We're going to in depth.
And it's pretty good. And we actually want to encourage all Twisties to do this or something similar. If you feel like coming in, write in some notes that you might see, like key ideas you picked up that like will let us like boom. That were kind of cool, wacky. Yep. There were some notes we were like, yeah, we picked up on that. But other ones we were just like, oh my goodness. We rewatched them like, oh, shit, that is weird. Isn't that weird?
Yeah. So what Anthony's trying to say in his deluded drug-addled state, I'll get there eventually, what he's trying to say, and what I'm trying to say, furthermore to the point, is that if you have input on any of the episodes of Season 2 Around the Twist, or ones that are coming up that we'll cover soon, let us know in advance, and we'll incorporate your notes and your ideas, suggestions, theories, anything of that nature, and we'll talk about it in the podcast.
Just know how we record the podcast is we record a week in advance to save time. So what you might think is, this week's going to be coming out now that I can watch next week's episode. Well, we're probably already would have recorded by the time that this week's comes out. So you need to watch 2 episodes ahead. So it's not, I think Granddad's Gift is the next episode. The one after that would be the one. So just watch that and then send us some key notes that you've seen that were really cool or some ideas you came up with before the Monday or the Tuesday. Yeah. Before the day we release the podcast. And then we can have a look and, it'd be awesome. You can be a part of the podcast and that'd be cool.
If you have any questions about how that works, don't be afraid to let us know. We'll help you.
Yes.
And we've also got a bit more user feedback or listener feedback at the end of the episode. But throughout the main portion of this episode, we'll just focus on Regan's. Yes, he gave us episode-specific content.
Focus on the Regan era.
And our own feedback, our own notes.
Yes.
Yeah. You're the one that's supposed to be on drugs today.
Yeah, well, you're always on drugs.
I am not.
You're on a drug called life.
Yes.
Yes.
That is very apt. So we start off the episode with the teaser, which gives us a little bit of idea of the thematic idea of what's going on in the episode itself. And this week we have Bronson dressed up like he's in the Wild West, and the rest of his family, his 2 siblings and his dad, are watching with binoculars from far away. Binoculars. How do you say that word?
Binoculars.
Binoculars. Yeah. Binoculars. Bionoculars.
Bionoculars. Bifocal lenses that supersize things.
Yes. Yeah. Those things. He's listening to those. And Bronson...
He's listening to those.
They're...
Sorry, that processed in my brain. He's listening to binoculars.
They're using the...
You couldn't be any more wrong. If you... Hang on. Shush. Do you watch through a stethoscope?
They're watching Bronson through some binoculars lined up. He pulls out a pair of feet, which are shaped like guns, and he shoots them, and smelly stuff comes out of the end of them. And he blows the end of the feet, the toes, as if they're smoking guns.
I think that was stupid. Because throughout the episode, the catchphrase of this episode is, up the pong. And he does like...
Very, very thoughtfully worded.
Mm-hmm. And he does like a karate kick sort of thing. Yes. Whenever he does it. So he'd be like, up in a high kick to the face, and he'd be like, up the pong. So you'd think... To keep with the theme of that either A, because there were 2 ways that he delivered his ammunition or weapon. It was either A, through a martial arts style thing,
yes,
like kung fu or karate, or it was like a chemical weapon / grenade. So he'd throw his shoe like it was a grenade.
Yeah.
So you would think that they would keep within either the military theme or the kung fu / karate theme, and
you pick a theme, basically.
Yeah, exactly. It's like, no, we're going to do Wild West, even though he never used his feet as guns ever.
Yeah.
It's kind of dumb.
Yeah, should have chosen something.
It would have worked much better with this episode.
Yes.
Yeah.
Unless they were just going for this general fighting boys
play. They were
play.
disembodied feet. He was holding disembodied feet
Indians.
as guns. It was the most disgusting thing I ever seen.
Boys like to imagine things. Maybe that's what they were going for.
Yeah, imagine his... Oh, goodness gracious me.
Calm down.
Chili whizzigers.
We start the actual episode itself at the lighthouse, and Faye's birthday's coming up. Tony's made a big lighthouse cake, and everyone's invited. Somehow Gribble has invited himself in advance, and has decided that he's going to show up, and Tony's telling Bronson that he better show up to the party, because Faye thinks that Bronson doesn't like her, and she's not going to marry Tony unless Bronson comes to the party.
Where would Faye ever get that idea? That Bronson does not like her?
It might all be a series of coincidences.
But it's like, he's like, I do like Faye. It's like, well, throughout the entire season, you kind of made it appear as though you don't like Faye, at all.
Yeah, so, well, he's 7. He's got some pent-up issues.
Yeah, fair enough.
Bronson is busy, which is why he can't come to the party, and he has things to do. He's bought her a present to show his appreciation of Faye, which isn't enough. In Tony's book, he wants him to actually come to the party.
Also, a 7-year-old does not have a date, or a plan,
Yes.
What is a 7-year-old
What's he going to be doing?
On his agenda, yeah, that you couldn't explain to your father. If you're 18 or 19, you could say, I'm actually busy. You wouldn't have to necessarily explain to your father. You probably should just tell him, because you're 18 or 19. But a 7-year-old? What are you doing?
Yeah, what are you doing, Bronson?
Are you cooking a Bromwich or something? Are you fishing and you don't want to tell Faye for some reason?
Yeah, come on.
Seriously.
Sort out your act.
Yeah, I would have clipped my kid behind the ear, I guess. Yeah. I don't know. Or something. This is the early 90s. This is the early 90s, so you can get away with that kind of,
smacking. Yeah. Okay, let's move on. Pete and Linda decide to sort Bronson out. So they take him upstairs and decide to torture him. So they were tickling him, right?
Yeah,
they weren't waterboarding him.
No, it's an early form of waterboarding.
And tickling.
Yeah, like they
Is
wanted
this
to
a
do that. They
Guantanamo Bay
wanted to do that
approved
in Guantanamo Bay.
Tickling,
but then like it was outlawed by Congress
I watched.
for being too cruel.
Have you seen the documentary The Unknown No? Okay,
Sorry,
so
I'm shaking my head. I'm drinking my coffee, and
yes,
I realised I'm
he
shaking
said,
my head, and
he
I
said
can't.
no, which
Yes.
does not translate very well on
When
an
you shake your head.
audio-only medium.
Yes.
But The Unknown Known is a documentary about the Secretary of Defense during the period that followed 9/11 in the United States.
Yeah.
And the guy, I can't remember his name, which makes the story not as good. It's all about this one guy, and Errol Morris, who's a very famous documentarian, very good documentarian as well.
Yeah.
The whole documentary is basically him interviewing this one guy, and it goes a lot into torture stuff and all that kind of thing that was going on, and whether or not they knew that it was bad what they were doing, or if it was approved by Geneva Convention, all this crazy stuff.
I can't even understand that. Like, okay, so I can't understand. Like, we're talking about waterboarding for a second. I can't understand anyone can even say that waterboarding isn't torture.
Well, they knew it was, but there was this whole debate about whether it was going through the chain of command.
Do you know presidential candidate for 2008 election, John McCain?
Yes.
I think he came out during the presidential debate.
Yes.
GOP debate, for the Republican nomination. He said that it was not torture. Waterboarding wasn't torture, which it's like, do you know who John McCain is? He was captured by Vietnamese, right?
Yeah.
And then turned into a Vietnamese prison camp. So he probably would experience torture. How could someone who went through torture come out and say waterboarding, which is simulated drowning, is not a form of torture? I just blows my mind. That just blew my mind.
When you get into this high level arguing about politics and what is this and what is that, it doesn't so much matter what the thing is, because you start looking at it very abstract, and what you define as torture, if you look at it slightly different, or if you do some mental gymnastics, it might not be the same thing.
Sure. But that's the thing. It's like, what is torture? Is like, if you have someone in a room and you play loud, continuous, awful music so it's hard for them to get sleep, is that torture? Yes, I think it is. But then someone might say, but it's not fingernails. It's not bamboo under your fingernails. Yeah. It's true.
There's different types of torture. There's different types of everything. And a thing like torture could potentially be something that's very hard to define.
It is. It can just be as simple as, creating an abusive style relationship where, like, they become very submissive to you. Like, I don't know, like through, like, a Skinner box style thing.
But when you get that deep into your mental gymnastics or whatever, it becomes very dangerous, because if you're toying with definitions of words like they were in the documentary, The Unknown Known, your reality starts to shift, and what does anything mean, really?
Because then when we're talking about that at the national level, it's not like, it has nothing to do with the morality of the torture. It has to do with whether or not you could legally call it so because of the Geneva Convention.
Yeah.
And then another way they got around it was saying, they're actually not soldiers.
Yeah.
Because they weren't in uniform.
Well, they talk about that a lot in the documentary. Yeah. Which is, I actually highly recommend it. If you have time, I think it's on the Australian version of Netflix.
If it's not, get something called Holler.
No, we do not endorse any form of Netflix shenanigans.
Tales from the Twist does not endorse this, but Anthony Bull does.
Okay, fine. You can endorse that.
I endorse it. I endorse that. Screw the government.
Netflix
I don't like them.
police can knock on your door and not mine.
Yeah, the police can bloody stay outside.
So Pete and Linda are torturing Bronson. They're trying to get him to come to Face Party. Eventually he says, yeah, I'll come, whatever, I'll do it next year. They go, no, you gotta do it this year. But this is what we're trying to get you to do. What's the problem? And this is where Bronson finally tells them. And I don't know why, throughout this episode, I don't know why it was such a problem. Why can't you just tell people what's going on? Probably would have been a sensible thing to actually do.
It probably would have been. Like, basically, they are a Greenie family. You've got Tony, who is an adamant Green supporter, and you have Linda. Linda is I know she's a feminist, and I know feminism is not necessarily in line with being a Greenie, but at least back in those days, that was an aspect of her characteristic.
Yes, in this episode, in this season, that's one of the defining qualities of her character.
Yeah, she's not just a feminist; she's also an activist. Yeah, she's an activist and a progressive person.
Yes,
she's She's protested pigging out or something.
Yes.
And she protested something else.
Why wouldn't she be interested in saving turtles?
Yeah, it makes no sense. This is the most uncommon thing I've ever seen.
So, if you're a little bit confused, let me explain what we're talking about here. We get a flashback from Bronson to the time he was exploring Turtle Island, another island that just conveniently does now exist. the geography of Port Noranda never ceases to confound me. We're going to have to do up a map at some point and try and work out where all these things are.
Yeah, we would
But
have
Bronson is dressed in military fatigues and camouflage, dancing around, waving a stick around on Turtle Island, jumping around.
Doing what a boy does. Like,
yeah, having fun.
And then he sees a stick and it becomes an assault rifle.
Yes.
That's what boys do.
Well, it was more of a staff, a ceremonial staff in this case. He wasn't using it as a gun, he was waving it around.
Wow, hang on. So
he wasn't pointing and shooting.
He was full military fatigue, right?
Yes, but he wasn't pointing and shooting, he was waving it about.
That doesn't make any sense.
Like a Gandalf staff.
That's dumb. He should have been dressed like Gandalf.
Yeah, well, I know.
Yeah.
Don't expect me to agree with what the episode is putting forward.
Yeah, fair enough.
Then he sees the Gribbles sitting on the shore, the younger Gribbles, not the older Gribbles. Let's get that straight. And they say, on the 4th of September at 5 p.m, Old Faithful, the giant turtle, will come and lay eggs. You can get $200 for the turtle and $4 per egg, which seems low for an endangered species.
$4 per egg?
Yeah, I thought
How much for the
I'd
turtle
originally
was it again?
written down $200 per egg. $200 for the turtle, $4 per egg.
for the turtle, $4 per egg.
They lay hundreds of eggs, though.
Yeah, but who's going to buy it?
Well, this is when we get to our first piece of feedback from our listener, Regan Pontillo, and I'll just read out his feedback, which says, "This sounds like a great plan and all, but I don't really understand firstly, how James, Tiger and Rabbit plan on transporting a turtle and eggs to the zoo, and secondly, should we believe that a reputable zoo would purchase a turtle and its eggs from a couple of teenagers?" Good point, Reagan.
Yeah, that's a really good point. Like,
who would believe that?
Who would run a zoo thinking, yes, I'm going to do this, this is going to look good?
Oh, we need some more turtles.
Yeah,
Here's
let's
some
just
teenagers.
buy all the turtle eggs. In fact, wouldn't you just report them to the government? Like,
yes.
Especially if you're
That's actually illegal.
That's probably what the zoo would be, because they'd just be like, okay, we need to... Actually, they would take them off their hands. Like, they would legally probably take them and call the police, because they'd be like, we need to ensure that these go to some sort of incubator, because you've disturbed them.
Yes.
Now the turtles are all screwed. Well done. And then that's going to look bad for Gribble Senior.
It's going to look bad for everyone involved.
It'll say Gribble's... it'll say... senator candidate, hides in his shell or something, you know, because of egg on his face or something like that. You know, there you go.
Secondly, if I could add on to Reagan's criticism of the episode, how do they know this pricing structure?
Yeah, it's pretty terrible.
It's pretty...
They didn't have the internet back then. How did they know that it was going to be $4 an egg?
Very specific. $4.
$4 for an egg.
How did they know that?
Who's your contract? Who's your contact?
Are they selling these on eBay? Is this the going rate?
Does Mr. Gribble already sell these eggs? Because how do you know they're $4 an egg? Is that how much you buy them from the shops?
Oh, I'll have a six-pack of turtle eggs,
Can I get
thanks.
some turtle eggs, thanks? Yeah, don't skimp on the turtle, you know?
Yeah, just very silly.
It's dumb.
Bronson thinks to himself, turtles are infected. Obviously, he's trying to say endangered or something to that matter.
Yeah, or endangered or something. It was actually more specific than endangered. It was like...
Infected?
Yeah, okay, so fair enough. I would say infected too, because I can't even think of the word.
And...
Protected.
Protected species.
Yeah.
And we get to the second of our Regan Pontillo pontifications.
Pontifications.
Oh, you see what I did there? That's pretty good.
That's Pete level.
And he has written something very specific here. So this part of the episode we're up to is about 4 minutes in, and I'll read you a paragraph from Regan.
Can I just say that this is probably my favorite
note?
favorite note that you sent us? I really loved it.
Yes, thank you, Regan.
This was beautiful.
He says, notice how at 4:27, when the transitioning scene of Bronson's face almost covers his face perfectly. Whether this is just pure coincidence, I'm not sure. In addition, out of curiosity, I looked up Proverb 4:27 in the Bible, and it says, do not turn to the right or the left. Keep your foot from evil. This could be referring to Bronson's face transition, where his face is almost exactly aligned in the transition, not turning to the left or to the right, and the fact that he is attempting to save the turtle to prevent any evil doings. Spooky. I agree, Regan. That is very spooky indeed.
Very spooky.
So what's happened is there's a transition that starts as a little circle and moves out and covers the Bronson in the first shot, with the Bronson of the second shot transferring from the flashback to the current time period of the actual episode.
And it says, keep your foot from evil.
Yes.
And this is about his feet.
Very, very well played there, Regan.
Oh, man.
Very well
done.
played.
That was just like, cool, man. Cool. Hey, isn't like Deuteronomy 3:27? Is that the thing we... Yeah, okay, fair enough.
Do you want to tell that story or just leave that hanging?
No, we can leave that out there. Sorry, I just remember that's why it's there. Back in school, we went to a Christian school, and we sort of had church every 2 weeks or something, in school.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
So anyway, if you've ever been to a church, you know that you have to stand up while you're singing. And I got really lazy and I didn't want to sing standing up, so I basically started sitting down. And I said, according to Deuteronomy 3:27. I don't have to stand up while I sing. I looked that up. My favorite verse now. It's just something like, go up to the top of Pishgar, look left, right, and forward, because you will never enter these lands. And I said, yep, that's it. That's why I don't have to stand while I sing.
Also, semi-relevant to the episode, I guess. Almost.
Well, it's because it's 427.
Not as good as Reagan's 427.
Oh god, that was just, man. It's like it is.
Yeah, get to it.
It is like in Mission Impossible, the original one, where he's like, Job 316, and he looks up Job 316, and then he enters that information, and then that's how he gets the new sorry, spoiler alert for Mission Impossible if you've never seen it.
Yeah, which I have not.
Really? Have you not seen
Well, I've tried to watch it about 3 times and I couldn't get past the first 20 minutes.
That's not a bad movie. Like, what?
I don't know.
So anyway, in order to reach this person, he has to type in Job 316's verse, which to me is kind of dumb now when you think about it, because who wouldn't think that as an option? But this is better than that thing from Mission Impossible. You, Reagan, pretty good.
Back to reality of the episode. Of the episode. Oh. Yeah, well, not real reality. The episode reality.
Yes.
Bronson's been planning for 6 months. So, back when Faye came for dinner, he was taking off his shoe, and it was really smelly, and he realised that his feet were smelly. So, he decided that he could experiment with the stinkiness of his shoes and create a human weapon.
Yeah.
So, we get some flashbacks from previous episodes. We've got him nearly killing a dog in an early episode, I think. That was from an early episode. Maybe that was some new stuff.
I think it was one of the early episodes, because I remember, if you look back, I talked about how Bronson had a foot fetish, because he was smelling his own feet.
Yes.
And now we know why he was smelling his own feet.
He was testing.
He looked at it the same way that a man might look at a sword that he's just crafted, like the pure destruction.
WMDs.
Yeah, WMDs sort of
like
thing.
Saddam, sitting on a pile of WMDs.
I wrote down, Bronson is the Saddam Hussein of paradise. And I just realised how terrible that sounds. But yeah, he pretty much is. He's also a tactical genius, because everything was pre-planned.
Yes. So, well, let's not get carried away with the word genius.
He's just like, at dinner, I tested out the lethalness of my thing. Yeah. I realised that it was effective. Then I saw that I could do it later on by getting people from 100 yards away. So, I was like, shit.
One of my favourite parts of Season 2 is when he's sitting in the middle of the pond having this existential crisis, and he pulls off his shoe and scares away this couple that are sitting on the other end of the lake.
Yep.
This is him testing the length of the effectiveness of his feet
weapon. The range of his shoes.
Yeah.
My goodness.
He tested on his dad that one time where he thought that was disgusting. There's a whole bunch of times.
If he had enough money, he'd probably strap his shoe to an intercontinental ballistic missile and see if that worked.
Yeah, maybe.
He's
an evil genius.
Yeah, he is. No wonder he goes back in time to try to kill Nell. He's got some tactical intelligence up there.
So Bronson unveils his feet to his siblings, and they nearly vomit. So he takes off one of his shoes, and it's enough to nearly knock them out. It's described as being diabolical.
Yeah.
I don't know if that was them talking about the smell. I think it was, because I think that would be more suited to Bronson as an adjective. Diabolical Bronson. The evil genius of feet. Bronson is going to use his smell to protect the sea turtle, but Face Party is on at the same time, so he's got to make a decision here.
He's got a dilemma.
Is he going to save the sea turtle, Old Faithful, which he did not care about before he even knew that the Gribbles, were going to steal it and sell it for $200 and $4 per egg?
Mm-hmm.
Or is he going to go to Face Party, someone he doesn't really like, in order to get her to marry his dad?
Tick-tock, tick-tock. TikTok. Also, let's just comment on something. Let's bring it back for a second. Let's talk about how this is actually a common dilemma that people face all the time.
What? Whether they should save sea turtles or go to family events.
Take sea turtles as actually just any non-human event that is of somewhat importance. Like, feeding the turtle is pretty important. That animal's 200 years old. It's an endangered species. I can understand sympathizing going there. But you've got a choice between doing something that's good for the environment that is completely removed from yourself, or going a socially constructed event And you must attend that event, because if you don't, you'll look bad.
Yep.
We've all had these issues in our life, I feel. You've had this problem before. It's like, I've said I was going to go, but I really should be going to this thing.
Yes.
And I don't want to look like an asshole.
Yeah, it does happen. It happens a lot.
However...
Society, hey?
Society, eh?
Gets you down.
Good contribution, Joe. Good contribution. Yeah, society, man.
Not as good as Reagan.
Not as good as Reagan, yeah, man. Reagan did a lot for society.
Keep talking.
Anyway, one of the issues is they're greenies.
Okay.
I know we can beat up on the greenies, but the fact of the matter is, if you fly the green flag, you should be thinking to yourself, geez, which is more important, going and saving the turtle or hosting this event with people? I don't know. Saving the turtle. How about that? Hell, get Gribble to do it. I mean, Gribble needs some good PR, right?
Yeah.
Gribble could say, why do you need to save the turtle? It's like, well, why don't you call down the news reporters, some other people, and have Gribble sponsor people, like, sponsor the preservation of these turtles.
Yep.
It's going to be $100, $200 of his wasted time. Great media presence. Oh, this guy was originally dumping waste? No, what?
He loves the turtles.
I love the turtles. I love the environment. My name is James Gribble. Please vote for me for the Senate, because I care about the environment, but I also care about jobs. Well, I'm going to vote for him too.
Excellent, excellent.
Should have been what happened, but didn't.
Pete has a special tactical plan to ensure that they can go to the what is this they're going to? A birthday party? It's not that important.
They're going to a birthday party.
So that they can go to the birthday party and that they can stop the sea turtle stealing, I guess. And in order to do this, Pete conveniently has 2 gas masks in the top drawer of his what do you call this? Clothes dresser?
You know what it's actually called? It's called a bomb drawer. Because if anybody has 2 gas masks...
What else do they have in there?
What else do they got in there? It's like, it's next to the bottle of ammonia and, what's it called? Hydrogen peroxide, maybe some titanium nitrate, and also just don't worry about the handgun in there. That's nothing. And the trench coat, don't worry about that either.
Pete Twist, Doomsday Prepper.
Yeah, he is a Doomsday Prepper.
We get now some stock footage of a turtle, which
National Geo.
There you go.
Nat Geo. It's ABC. It's actually
awesome.
You feel like they grabbed that stuff from ABC's latest documentary on turtles.
Well, they probably did.
Yeah, it looks like they did because it's free. Because it's owned by the government, so you could totally just do that. It's public domain.
I guess.
Yeah.
School. Gribble's planning how to catch a turtle.
Yeah.
The actual nuts and bolts of the capturing. Pete and Linda show up, and they're in the classroom within ear's reach of the Gribble gang, and they're trying to borrow something from Snapper.
They're trying to borrow the keys.
The keys, because they want to borrow something from the sports shed in order to protect a turtle.
Yep.
This is very sus. This is obviously a trap.
Yeah, but it's also really sus that Snapper would just be like,
"Yep, okay, here you go.
Have access to the shed to get whatever implement you want. You haven't even requested. It's like asking, hey, can I have a blank check to save the turtles?
Yep.
No worries. Here's a blank check. When Snapper could be like, hey, here's an opportunity to teach kids about endangered species. Let's organize an excursion. How hard would that have been?
Yep.
To talk to Snapper about that. I'm sure he could have cleared it. He's the only teacher there, except for Faye and Splooge. Just said, hey, let's go save the turtle. No worries. We'll do that.
What? Yeah. The whole logic behind not telling anybody about the turtle just blows my mind.
Kids, if you're listening to this podcast, stop listening, because you probably shouldn't be listening to this podcast. But if you ever have an idea to save turtles, talk to an adult.
Yeah.
Crying out loud. That should be the lesson of this whole story. Talk to an adult.
Captain Planet level morals here.
It is. It's like, hey, get an adult's help to save the turtles, because what are you going to do, too? What if the turtle gets stuck? Are you going to try to dig around it and carry it back? You got no upper body strength.
Pete and Linda go to the sports shed to get something out. The Gribble gang quickly follow them and then barge past them and go into the sports shed itself, which was conveniently already open. And what do they see? But Bronson sitting atop a large pile of sports mats with his shoes still done up. You idiot, Bronson. Mm-hmm. He then tries to undo the laces, but double knots, which he can't undo.
So who tied him up? Who tied these knots?
Well, he said before that he would do double knots for the safety of all involved, so that he didn't accidentally knock out his siblings when they were executing tactical plans.
Okay.
So the Gribbles are completely unaffected by this, obviously, because he can't get the shoes off.
Yeah.
So they just leave and look at the 2 Twist twins wearing their gas masks like they're a pair of idiots.
I don't understand. Smells can come through material.
Yes.
So they should still have some effect. And even so, come on, you got socks, right? Remember how we used the sock? You used the socks later. You could have used the sock as a weapon.
Well, he's obviously not that smart.
Well, I mean, he is. He's tactically planned out this attack for the last 6 months.
But this is not the plan. This is Pete's plan.
Yes, but he's smart enough to, like, plan out things such as he's having an existential crisis and he sees a couple at the river. Remember, he didn't plan the couple for the river to be there.
Yeah.
So he saw opportunity. He's actually a good entrepreneurial spirit right there.
Yep.
He sees opportunity and he's like, boom, I need to test my thing right now. Takes off his shoes and then scares the people away. He didn't have the foresight to think that double knots might be hard for him to undo, that maybe he should cut a bit of his sock off. Like, you could cut a bit of your sock off, create it into anklets, right? Then make those things, I don't know, into a boxing sort of like wrap.
Yep.
And then like punch him in the face.
Yep.
He doesn't even have to hit that hard.
Double knockout.
Yeah, double knockout. It's like, yeah. Or fly paper. Get fly paper like that hangs from the roof. So when you walk in, they go, what is this? And it hits them in the face and they get the smell. Done. But they're not that smart.
They're not.
Is the moral of this story.
The Gribbles leave unmolested by the smelly socks or feet or shoes and go about their business. Bronson's running late for class and Faye grabs him and Faye says, look, are you coming to the party tonight, Bronson? I really want you to be there. He says, yeah, I'll be there, don't worry. The Gribbles walk out of the school right in front of Faye. She does nothing. Bronson tries to follow them and she says, no, you've got to come to class, mister.
But I won't go after those children. Just they're gone.
Where's your duty of care?
If only we had the state funding to hire more teachers so that I could get those teachers.
There should be enough teachers at the school.
There clearly is not. There clearly isn't. But there is a groundskeeper. So
yes,
can't you have a groundskeeper?
Will talk about shortly.
Yeah, we will. But the groundskeeper should also be the gate guard.
Yes.
Whatever.
In Snapper's classroom, Pete and Linda are stuck there. And the Gribbles are not because they've escaped. And Snapper's talking about the dodo. And he says, the dodo's become extinct and can't pass on his genes anymore. And Pete comes out with a classic Pete Twist quip. And he says, they can have mine because Dad says that they're worn out.
Well, that's just
different
funny.
type of genes there,
yeah,
mate.
But you know what? In his defense, he's not the first person to make that joke.
No, he's not.
Jeans for Jeans Day. There you go.
Jeans for Jeans Day was the thing.
Is it still? It's still a thing, right?
I have no idea.
Well, they need to work on their marketing.
They need to.
So people know that there's still issues with jeans.
Snapper won't let Pete and Linda leave the classroom because
he's a good teacher.
Yeah, he's had enough people leave.
He is a decent enough teacher to say, no, you cannot leave the classroom because there are 3 that are missing. I put out a police report. You've got to do that. Or I don't know.
No, you call the office.
Their parents.
Yeah.
You say, hi, can you send a message to Gribble Senior and whoever is their parents, the other ones? They're going to have an after-school detention. And they're going to be in a lot of trouble.
Yes.
Surely. But no, I'm just going to leave it.
Yes.
Snapper, you're supposed to be smarter than this. What's wrong with you?
Bronson pretends to need to go to the toilet in order to escape from his classroom. We see some more stock footage of a turtle. Then we see Bronson spying on Snapper's class in order to find a way to try and get his brother and sister out of their class so they can assist him to use his smelly feet to knock out a trio of teenagers in order to save an ancient sea turtle.
You know, they could have really built up a lot more tension in this episode if they didn't just use the same stock footage.
Yes.
Like, if they had shown the stock footage where, like, you have some stock footage and then you mix it in for, like, the distance for where it is, like, clear idea. So it's like, it's getting closer to the beach so that... And maybe had some intense music. So you could have known, oh my gosh, ticking clock because the turtle's coming.
Yep.
It would add a lot more tension and raise the stakes. This is just like, it's going to get here. Don't worry. It's like when you take a RPG. You played RPGs. You love them. I do too. And they say, you must go to this location and stop them before they kill somebody.
Yep.
If you don't see a clock on screen, you say, no.
Because
screw you.
It'll happen when I get there.
It's like, I'm just going to go explore over here. And then they go, thank goodness you came so quickly. And you're like, it's an hour into the game. And you're like, and you think to yourself, yeah, I came quickly.
Yep.
Yeah,
why not?
No worries, here's my gun. Bang, and you kill him. Because you're an RPG.
You're an evil person. That's
the
moral
play
I get
as an
from that.
RPG. As an evil person.
Fair enough. So Bronson decides the best plan of action to get his siblings out is to take off a shoe and throw it into the classroom. So he does that like a grenade. He throws 2 in, and like a smoke bomb, it activates and wipes out most of the class. Snapper, as he's falling to the ground, asphyxiating from the smell, manages to break the fire alarm and it goes off.
Okay.
So summoning some form of special service, I imagine.
Well, it's an excuse for everyone to leave.
Yes.
So, but here's the thing. If the fire alarm has been activated in a school, they do a head count. And
there's a lot of people missing.
There's a lot of people missing. Is there a fire? That would scare anybody because Spillage would say this, there's no fire drill. There must be a fire somewhere in the school and children are missing.
Yeah.
They would be having kittens. Like, how could you not? You'd be scared until you see that Snapper's class have been gassed into a coma, and the only people who are missing are the Gribbles group and the Twists. So chances are they are involved in this in some way. And in fact, all you need to do is grab the shoe that belongs to Bronson, because it's really easy to go, oh, this belongs to a small child. Whose shoe is this? Faye, oh, that's Bronson's disgusting shoe. Well, he's clearly the person who bombed his own school.
Yes.
He's going to prison.
Terrorism.
Yeah.
Teenage
The moral of this story is
terrorism.
Be a terrorist.
No, it's not.
It's not.
It's not.
AFP. Do you hear the helicopter?
Yep, I do. I hear the helicopter already.
I think you summoned them.
The Twists, they try to get on a bus in order to get to Turtle Island quicker.
Love the name.
I guess
the name, Turtle Island.
I guess the bike is... I guess the bus, is amphibious. But Bronson gets on the bus, and because he's not wearing his shoes, the smell is uncontained, and it just wipes out the entire bus, including the bus driver. They can't do that.
It just gasses the entire bus again.
So, an alternative method of transport is to get some bikes from... I don't know who these people
just
are.
robbed two
Town
people.
Curious. They walk up to them, Bronson gasses them immediately and steals their bikes.
He goes, doesn't he go like up the pong or something? He at least says he needs these
catchphrase.
bikes. I thought these guys were carrying a baguette.
Postmen.
I thought they were carrying baguettes, but they're actually just carrying town plans or something.
I don't know.
I don't know what they're carrying. But
big cylinder.
It's a known fact that if you're carrying a paper bag, you need to be either carrying a baguette or a baguette-looking thing. Every single movie.
If you're on a bike.
Or even in real life. You've got to carry something in your bag so people will know it's a baguette, or in this case, it's a town planner.
Would you ride a bike with a baguette?
No, yeah, I guess so. But where would I ride it to?
Your house? Back from the shop?
No, I guess so. Like, I know a lot of people say that need to have a baguette, but then I think to myself, what else is in the bag?
A baguette.
Yeah, I know, you got a baguette, and that's like, everyone always talks about that in movies. It's like, everybody always has a baguette in their bag.
Yes.
But maybe it's not that. Maybe it's more the case of, they also have a whole bunch of other groceries that you never see. And so to say, hey, I've just been to the shops, or I've been out casually, you need to throw in a baguette, because you can't see the tomatoes and the eggs and the other stuff that's in the bag.
Yeah.
No one ever says, give me one baguette. No, I just want one baguette.
What
are you going to eat with your baguette? Nothing. Just going to eat it raw, sit on the street while eating a baguette out of my bag.
Excellent.
Yeah.
Excellent.
Would you eat a baguette?
I have eaten baguettes in the past, yes.
I think they're overrated.
I'd like baguettes.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
The Twists, they steal these bikes and they head off on their mission to Turtle Island. As they go past on their way, the smell wafts over to the Gribbles, who only get, like, the edge of the smell, so they don't get wiped out, they just kind of smell it a little bit, and they have the same present as Bronson, which apparently was quite cheap. Well, why they needed to get a present, I don't know, because they're crashing the party anyway, but, you know, I guess
Regan
that's
picked
nice.
up on that too, which I thought was pretty cool.
Yes, good job, Regan. Back at the lighthouse, Nell and Tony are getting ready for the party. Nell's not doing anything, she's just kind of standing there.
It's her birthday, man.
No, it's
Nell's birthday. Sorry, yeah, Nell is...
Nell is window dressing.
I'm really annoyed in season 2 where Nell has just been relegated to the role of window dresser.
Yes.
Until she starts speaking, for at least a minute, she's quiet, and she just nods, and she turns her head from left to right. I keep feeling like they couldn't afford to give Nell any more speaking lines.
They didn't have anything for her to do.
Yeah,
they weren't giving her exposition like they were in season 1. What are they going to get her to do?
Exactly.
Just
she
stand there.
Has no purpose, and that annoys me because I kind of always liked Nell.
Yes.
She always seemed to be the not moral judgment. She used to have good common sense about her and some things, and she used to have great exposition.
Yes.
So it was always interesting to see, like, if you ever had a problem, go to Nell, because she's probably going to give some good advice, or she's going to provide information. Now she's just, background dressing.
Both you and I are big Nell fans.
Yeah.
Gribbles have arrived early, and Gribble tries to hand out his political flyers, and...
Political pliers?
Well, you could hand them out. I don't know how useful they'd be.
Well, that would be really cool for, I don't know, you gotta have like a tagline on it or something.
For tradies.
Cool. Well, tradies. But I was thinking, you put some political pliers and say, send a tool to fix Senate or something like that. Why make a joke about it instead of being like, I'm a tool and I don't know, they're full of manure or something.
Good one.
For some reason, I felt that I want to start a manure company that sells bags of manures, right? That's going to have basically the speeches of politicians as the outside casing. So it's going to be like just written on it, and it'll be like Julia Gillard's bests, and Kevin Rudd's best, and you'll have Tony Abbott's best and John Howard's best, and it'll have like their classic speeches.
Okay.
So Tony Abbott, no cuts to SBS or ABC. Julia
What do
Gillard,
you do with these
no carbon tax
bags?
under munch. They're manure. They're the best manure. Because the best
I see.
manure comes from the politicians.
I don't understand who's going to buy
because they're full
this.
of shit. I don't know who'll buy them either, but I thought about it once when I saw manure for sale.
On Turtle Island, Bronson is attacking the seagulls, testing out his powers. Up the pong is his catchphrase that he cries whenever he uses his abilities. His siblings berate him for wasting time, which he is. They're trying to save the turtle here, not test the powers of some smelly feet.
Yeah.
The Gribbles hurry past. Bronson says, "Don't worry, I'll save the turtle." But Linda, the feminist that she is, says, "No, there's no time to save this turtle. We have to go back to the party because we have to go. So wash your feet and come back with us because there is no time to save an ancient turtle from being put into captivity."
We must obey social constructions and we must conform to societal expectations. We cannot save the endangered species.
Yes.
Because feminism is... it
Activism.
doesn't make any sense in any way for her character to even say these things. For these things to even come out of her mouth. Because she's so strongly an activist and so strongly a feminist. How can she reconcile this, alright, with her pre-existing ideologies and her activist nature? How can she not say, you know what, screw the party. I love Faye and stuff, but this turtle needs protection because I love to protest.
Yes.
Fucking so dumb. Pete should have said that line. Pete should have said we need to go back to life.
Well, he did as well, but she reinforced it.
Maybe if she just said we should go back because she should have stated why. Like, you know, she cares about her father.
She does.
Which supersedes her ideologies. It's like, I love my parents. I want to, you know, it means a lot to my father. We need to go back. I understand we could save this animal, but it means a lot to save him. The way it comes out from her is, screw what I previously believed. You know, no, let's just do this other thing that society says we should do. Because I'm not a feminist anymore. And that's... Right, screw it. Yeah. Done.
Back in the lighthouse, Faye's arrived at the party, chauffeured by Snapper, which is very interesting because Snapper was just subject to a terrorism attack, biological warfare in his classroom. Now he has time to drive Faye to a party. What's going on here, mate?
Weird, right?
Yeah, there are children missing. Faye, for one, is surprised that the children aren't here. Shouldn't she know that they've gone missing?
And also,
Isn't this something that she should know, being a responsible teacher?
See, I picked up from that more that Snapper was friend-zoned like crazy.
Oh, he's friend-zoned hard, but we already knew that.
We already knew that, but it's like, it's still a little weird. Like, I guess it makes sense because they're both teachers at the school.
Yeah.
Still a little awkward, I feel. Because he might be... I was thinking about the conversation they have in the car. So you excited for your party? Oh, yeah. Yeah. Tony's going to throw it to me. Oh, you're going to get married soon? Oh, I don't really know. Oh, what? You don't know if you're going to get married? And then Snapper, being himself, like, talks about how he loves children and all this stuff. Just try to win her over. That's probably, what, a 15-minute ride of awkwardness? Do you not have a car, Faye? Or, like, seriously?
Who knows?
I would not have wanted to be in that car. This would have been awful.
We cut back to Turtle Island. Bronson knocks out his brother and sister, saying up the pong. And he needs to get across this small river, and he has to do it without washing his feet, and he doesn't know how to do it. He sees a big wooden, tinny boat thing there, and he tries to push it.
We need to clarify this river for anyone who hasn't seen the episode
Okay,
yet.
clarify away.
It is literally the size... it's probably like 2 feet.
It was, about
3
that.
feet.
A little bit wider.
We'll say maybe a 4...
a width of a couch.
Yeah, that's about right. Yeah, so maybe 4 or 5 feet.
Yeah.
It's not even that, and it's as shallow as a regular couch too. Not even, no. It's about a foot deep.
Yeah.
Or a foot and a half. Do you know what is around you, Bronson?
Ocean.
Sand.
Yeah.
Lots of sand.
Are you saying that he could have built a sand dam?
He could have just, pushed sand into the river to the point where he could have made, like, at least a small leaping distance.
Yes.
This is not hard to do. I mean, you have sand. Just pour the sand in there.
To be fair, he's probably wary of making dams after he was haunted by a water spirit.
Yeah, I guess so. But still, you're there to protect the sea turtle. Come on, man. Isn't he friends with the water spirit now?
Yeah.
Why couldn't he just call upon the water spirit?
I don't know
to
how
help him to separate like a Moses-style thing.
This is why we need Nell's exposition to tell us the rules.
Ugh. Oh, you missed something too.
What?
You missed the cat hat.
Oh, I wasn't going to talk about that.
Yeah, no, it's... Okay, so, back in the classroom... No, it doesn't.
You can't do that. It's only for the lighthouse.
I know.
Go.
Okay, so back in the classroom before any of this happened, Snapper is talking about the endangered animals and talks about the Mongolian cat.
Yes.
And how it has some special magic powers. And so, of course, that's a throwback to, the Mongolian cat hat. Apparently, it's gone extinct because of human intervention, because we make them into hats.
Yes.
Obviously.
Yes.
Just thought I'd want to put that in there.
Thank you.
Important.
Thank you.
It's important, man.
No, thank you.
It really builds the world.
Really, thank you.
No worries, I'll do it anytime, mate.
So, Bronson can't push the boat across because he's too small. He's 7 years old. He can't do it. It's a no-go. He finds a stick. His idea is that he's going to pole boat across the water. And if we could go now to Pontillo,
yes.
Regan Pontillo's third piece of feedback for us on the episode,
yep.
He suggested that this was a homage to Chariots of the Fire, something that I didn't pick up immediately.
And then we rewatched it.
Revisiting that scene, yeah, good job, Regan.
This is why I wouldn't mind seeing more people do this as well, because if we did go back, we watch it, and then we're like, oh yeah, it was like Chariots of Fire. It was slow motion. It obviously wasn't the soundtrack
music.
Because
it was close.
You didn't need you can't do the copyright, but
it was close.
It was very close. So it cuts to a large stick running across the ocean with classical style music, just like in Chariots of Fire, except with the running across the ocean thing, more like the running. Dun 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 dun. Is that the song?
Yeah. Kind of.
Yeah. Also, the stick is bent. Just so you know.
Yeah, use a straight stick if you're going to pole vault, mate.
Yeah, it's got a curve in it. Like, you're an idiot, Bronson.
Bronson goes to pole vault across the water.
What do you think happens?
And Anthony goes, it's going to break. It's going to snap. He's going to fall in the water. It's going to break and he's going to fall in the water. What happens?
It breaks and it falls in the water. I'm like, you're an idiot. You're an idiot. This kid's I'm like, you're a fucking idiot. You're an idiot, Bronson. I'm sorry. That's the stupidest thing I've ever seen. How could you not know that? I guess you're 7. I keep forgetting this kid is 7, but this story is written by people who are in their mid-30s.
Yes.
Or early 30s. I don't know how old Paul Jennings was.
Paul Jennings was quite old at this point. He's like 70-something now.
Maybe he's like, hey, it inhabits the mind of a child who thinks that's a good idea. But everybody knows a bent stick will end up with a broken child.
A broken child. So, Bronson falls in the water, his feet are washed, his powers are seemingly gone. He has a Smeagol-esque monologue. What he's going to do now, is he going to go back to the party? Is he going to try and stop the Gribbles from stealing Old Faithful? He decides to go and stop them from stealing Old Faithful. Back at the lighthouse, Faye is very upset that the kids are late. And Tony says, they think about you all the time, they even dream about you. I'm not going to comment on that. Thank you, Tony, for your input. Let's leave it at that.
There's a song by Sean Paul. It's like that.
Excellent. Thank you.
Sean Paul? It's like,
I don't know who
I think about you all the time. I see you in my dreams. Go tell me what you mean. It is a song like that. I think it's with Nelly Furtado. Yeah, that's all I thought about. Also, can I just talk about Reagan's another point he put in? He says cuts to Faye's party where we see Harold again attempting to sell the idea of the casino to everyone.
Yes.
Saying it's a perfect place. So he's still got ideas about casino. Do you reckon that's going to pop up later?
Probably. Probably.
Maybe that's the ending of season 2, which he should learn that nobody wants to destroy the lighthouse.
Yes.
So maybe he's going to build an extension to the lighthouse?
Maybe.
Call it the Lighthouse Casino? With a steak bar or something? I think that would work. Yeah, I'd go there.
Yeah,
Maybe not to the casino. I don't go to casinos, but I'd go to a clubhouse called the Lighthouse.
Yeah.
Yeah, and have a nice beer and stuff.
Pete and Linda wake up. Bronson approaches the Gribbles, and Pete and Linda decide to run back to the party because they can't see where Bronson is, and they think, he's probably gone back to the party. Faye's very upset that Bronson can't make it, as Pete and Linda explain that he can't make it because he might have thought it was a beach party.
And Mrs. Gribble, is this when Mrs. Gribble just says, doesn't he want a new mother or something?
Yes.
What a bitch. That's sorry. I know, I'm trying to cut down on my swears here, but yeah.
She's not a very nice person. That is a horrible thing to say.
Horrible thing to say. Your husband is running for politics. Keep your mouth shut or say positive things. Everything you say will be remembered by everybody in your electorate. Are you an idiot?
Well, it's also a horrible thing to say about a 7-year-old boy.
Yeah, exactly. It's a horrible thing to say, but if you think it and you're running for parliament, don't say it. Because it will come back to haunt you. Do you really think that a child without a mother, isn't trying hard enough to get a mother? What's wrong with you?
Bronson attacks the Gribbles as the turtle arrives. He runs down the kind of sandy cliff hill thing and jumps at them with his feet flying, and he steals a net and the Gribbles chase him away. And we cut to the turtle, which we can see now clearly on the beach, and this is the most terrifying thing that I've ever seen.
Yeah.
this is some kind of animatronic turtle thing. We thought, that it clearly can't be animatronic. They don't have the budget for that. But it's scary. I don't know what it was that was this turtle, what they used to make it, but it genuinely terrified me. I felt a small...
It was like what's going on here?
If you have time, look it up, find this turtle among the scarier animatronic creatures that I've seen in my time.
Maybe it was from a museum.
Maybe it was a puppet.
It might have been a museum.
No, but it moved.
Yeah, but I mean, like, there are museum pieces that have moving turtles.
Oh, really?
Maybe it was an old museum piece. I don't know. It did look like it looked terrible. It looked like the nightmare of Jim Henson. Jim Henson's nightmares. Okay, it didn't look that bad, but it looked like Terminator, the original Terminator, when he was doing the thing, which is actually pretty good by
when he's
standards.
doing the thing.
Sorry, when he's okay. So the original Terminator was when he's doing surgery on himself.
Ah, yes, that's Terminator 2.
No, Terminator 1. He's doing surgery on himself, right? He rents a hotel room and he has to cut out a part of his eye.
Ah, yeah.
And it's all it's not stop motion. Sorry, it's all robots.
Yeah.
And it looks pretty bad by today's standards. Back then, it looked pretty good.
Yeah.
This turtle was a cheap version of that.
Okay.
Yes.
Excellent.
There you go.
Bronson has stolen the Gribbles' net that they were going to use to catch the turtle. After about 2 seconds, he drops it.
Which is a butterfly net, by the way.
Yeah, and that other net, they had like a big cargo net thing.
Oh, did they? I didn't see that, sorry.
Yeah.
So I guess the smaller net was for the eggs.
If you'd blinked, you would have missed him carrying it because he drops it straight away. And then the Gribbles continue to chase him because, why not?
Yeah.
And it turns out that Bronson had a sock all along because he holds it up and knocks out the Gribbles.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He should have put that in some water, like into a spray container.
Oh, so it could spray the smell at them?
Yeah, so he could have gone psh or something like that. Or, I don't know, turn it into some sort of like, what's that stuff called? You spray it in your eyes of your victims to blind them.
Pepper spray?
Yeah, kind of capsicum spray. So you make some sort of capsicum spray thing out of it. I'm sure you could have because you're a genius, Bronson.
Didn't we learn that water washes away the smell?
Oh, of course it does. Water washes away the smell. Not
he obviously
soap,
thought of this.
Nothing else. Yeah, he did, I guess. Yeah, sorry about that.
Because of the beach party clue that Pete and Linda dropped at the party, instead of just telling them Bronson's trying to save an endangered species, all of everyone that was at the party now shows up on Turtle Island, and they arrive just in time to watch the turtle shoot out eggs terrifyingly into a big sandy hole.
Yes.
Mr. and Mrs. Gribble, where's our son? Where's our son? Where is he? They go up on the top of this hill, and they see James lying on the ground. Oh no, what's happened here? But what has happened here is that Bronson's left his smelly sock there, which also knocks out Mr. and Mrs. Gribble.
With the sound of an elephant.
I did not catch that.
You didn't pick up the sound of the elephant? No. There was a sound that was like the sound of an elephant trunk sort of falling.
Okay, I see.
For Mr. Gribble. I also thought that this scene was very... It spoke to me of World War II. And you know what I'm talking about. World War II, gassing piles of bodies.
Biological warfare.
About
Auschwitz.
For killing people who like to consume a lot of money. Alright?
What are you saying here?
I'm saying that Paul Jennings is an anti-Semite. Cut that out.
Wow, okay. Yeah, I probably will cut that out. We cut back down to the shore where the turtle's laying the eggs, and everyone's singing not Happy Birthday, but singing Why Was She Born So Beautiful about Faye, because, I don't know if you know this, Anthony, but Happy Birthday is a copyrighted song, and every time you play it on television or radio, you have to pay, that's quite a large amount of money.
Yeah, I have heard that. I think it's ridiculous a little. Yes. Which I guess makes sense because why was she born so beautiful?
So they're singing that because I assume it's either cheaper or out of copyright, whatever. As soon as they're finished singing it...
Like, the easiest way around that is to go, hooray, 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 because then, that's always the thing that comes afterwards. But to me, that's the dumbest thing in the world, that Happy Birthday is still in copyright.
Well... if you make a song, you want it to be in copyright, even if it is in copyright. Use.
I have a serious issue with copyright law, just because of how long copyright law is. I know went over it a long time.
How long is it? It's not that long.
Lifetime of the creator plus 75 years.
Yep. Well,
that's
a long time.
You make and not only that, things can get back into copyright. So let's say George Lucas has made Star Wars, okay?
Yep.
Just applying that law by himself. He made it in 1976. Let's say he dies. He's probably going to die in like 2035, maybe.
Yep.
Right? It's not going to be able to be uncopyrightable until 2001 2010.
Okay.
2110.
Wow.
That's a bit long. Like, I think it should be, like, lifetime of the author, or 50 years, whichever comes last.
Okay.
Because I originally had whichever comes first, but then I realized you could just kill someone and steal their copyright. But whichever comes last. Because if a person makes something really creative, they should have the right, and it's really good and people want it, they should have the right to protect that thing, because it does kind of inspire people to try to, create new stuff. But it's too bloody long. It needs to go into public domain so people can cut it and edit it. Yeah. And also, applying copyright law. I'm sorry to say this. I know, Joe. I know. It's fine.
Hurry up.
My problem is that you can't selectively choose copyright as well. If copyright is infringed anywhere, you have to enforce it.
Yes.
So if a fan makes a fan movie and infringes on your copyright, technically, that you have to do it. Otherwise, if a big company infringes on copyright, you can't go to them and say you infringed on our copyright, because they'll say, what about this smaller guy who you said was okay? Because you said that was okay, it must be okay here.
Yeah.
Which kind of kills creativity and fan support in this creative world.
Copyright generally only applies when you're making money out of something.
Yeah.
So you could do whatever you want as long as you weren't charging for it.
Well, like, I wouldn't mind if someone made a shirt that said something like, had the Tales from the Twist logo on it and was trying to sell that.
Don't say that.
I wouldn't mind.
Let's sell our own merchandise.
I said I wouldn't
Thank
mind.
you very much.
I say I wouldn't mind, okay? I can't actually make the decision because we're partners and we've got some another partner, so we can't actually say that. But in Anthony's opinion, that would be cool.
Let's just worry about our own merchandise before we start outsourcing that. Thank you very much.
All right, no worries.
So the terrifying turtle leaves, and Bronson decides to give his birthday present to Faye, and he tries to go into his pocket, but lo and behold, there is the other sock in his pocket, and he accidentally gasses everyone, including Faye. Great birthday present.
Good birthday present, yep. Good on you, Bronson.
Fantastic.
You were just amazing.
So, that's the end of the episode itself, and we get some credits here, which have some cut-out scenes. What do we call these? I can't remember the word for them. Not really bloopers. How does Regan?
What do you call it, Regan?
What does Regan?
Outtakes. Yeah,
that's pretty good. Yeah. Well, better phrased than me.
Yeah.
Anyway, one of the outtakes that I particularly thought was interesting, there's when the children are leaving the school, there's a gardener who does look a little bit suspicious, is hit by the smell and falls asleep in a wheelbarrow. The only reason that I'm saying he looks suspicious is because he has a ponytail, though.
He looks like a hippie, basically.
Well, there was another word that we used.
Yeah, there was. But no point does the gardener try to stop... What did I call him? Oh, yeah, okay, fair enough, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, that word.
Yeah.
A bad man word relating to children. I think you can work that one out. Horrible person that should be in prison.
Creepy man.
Creepy man. He's a creepy man, yeah. He falls backwards into a wheelbarrow in the most pratfally fashion ever.
Yeah.
He casually lies in the wheelbarrow. Also, why didn't this guy try to stop the kids? The first kid's running out. I know that he's the groundskeeper, but...
No, he doesn't care. He's not paid enough to care.
I guess so, yeah. In the meeting, he'd say, why don't you stop the kids? He'd be like, I'm a groundskeeper. That's not in my contract. If you want to add it to my contract, you can do that, but
you can
not
pay
in the
extra
contract.
money.
Yeah, because otherwise he's gonna become the bloody lollipop lady as well.
Yeah.
And not getting any money for that.
Yeah. Give him a university degree. Send him to university, and then you can.
He probably
ask
already
him to
has
have
a university degree.
What, to be a gardener?
No, that's why he's a gardener. He got a bloody degree in fine arts or humanities or something.
Me.
Yeah, and it was like, well, it's a gardening job. It lets me He could have got a degree in philosophy. And he's there pontificating life.
Yes, excellent.
Writing a book, maybe.
Well, maybe.
Or maybe he loves gardening. You ever think of that? He could be a PhD student. I've seen that on Reddit where someone's like, I'm an IT student. I've finished my degree, but I really love cleaning. And I just want to run a cleaning job.
Okay, fair enough.
Fair enough.
Good on you.
Good on you, mate. Do
if
what you
love
love.
Cleaning, do what you want to do. That's the end of the episode. Anything else you'd like to talk about in the episode before we move on?
No, we talked to death about the episode. It's pretty... Yeah.
Okay.
No, I'm good. We're good, eh?
Cool. Now, this is the part of the episode where we give the episode a rating with bowls of spaghetti. And Regan has given us his rating. And he said that he's given the episode 6 out of 10 bowls of spaghetti with a couple of garlic breads. Thank you, Regan.
That's good. It's good.
What would you give it?
6 out of 10. Yeah, it's pretty... No, 6 out of 10. Yeah. 6 out of 10.
Okay.
Any bowls of spaghetti, any garlic bread? No, because I don't want the indigestion that came with this episode. So I'm not going to get any garlic bread. But maybe I'm going to have a calzone or something.
Calzone?
Yeah.
There's a lot of bread there.
I don't go to...
Carbs.
I don't get... Okay, I don't go to a pasta or pizza place which is usually the same place sometimes.
Yes.
To eat a salad, man.
Yes.
Wait, what? Come on. I don't do that.
Well, I'm trying to make healthy choices, so I'll give the episode 6 out of 10 bowls of garden salad.
Ah, you fucking pussy.
Whoa, calm down.
Sorry. Okay, so fine. All right, you got 6 out of 10 garden salads.
Yeah.
With a side order of spaghetti?
No.
No
bowls of spaghetti, which is becoming very tangential of our actual rating system, which comes from an earlier episode of Round the Twist.
Yes.
So, whatever.
Alright, so 6 out of 10 bowls of garden salad.
Now, let's get on to listener feedback. So, thank you once again to Regan Pontillo. Very good job. If you want to also do what Regan Pontillo has done for us, you can also send us...
Facebook.
Yeah, message us on Facebook or Twitter or any of the other ways that you can find us. Anywhere we are Tales from the Twists, plural, except on Twitter we are TFT Twists.
Why is it so short, you ask? Well, because on Twitter you only have 150 characters. I think
deal with it.
Yeah, deal with it. Yeah.
Okay. Now, we've got some other listener feedback to read out.
Yes.
We'll start with somebody called...
Here we go. Here's the notes.
Ah, yes. Here are the notes. Let's start with somebody called Dungog Trip.
Dungog Trip.
Thank you for leaving your comment. You said something about the mermaid episode, which was very thoughtful of you to write. It was almost poetic. Thank you for leaving a note.
Thank you for punishing us with that. Get it? Punishing?
Yeah, thank you.
Thank you.
And our good friend Phil Bates, who we don't know, but I'm calling a good friend because
he's
I like that
mate.
terminology.
He's our mate. He said
he's left us.
He wanted
to
know if we covered the episode about covered the issue where it's
who's running the lighthouse?
Who's running the lighthouse?
Who is running the lighthouse?
And I said the ghosts are doing it.
Well, you did, but it's an abandoned lighthouse. We've seen that in a few shots of the episode. It's not running. I believe that Port Noranda. I don't know if we talked about this in the past, but Port Noranda at some point, I imagine, was a trading town. Did a lot of port traffic. Now that mustn't be the case because that must go through the big city itself. So I imagine that boats aren't really coming to Port Noranda. Therefore, we don't really need the lighthouse.
I just want to say Dungog's like part of his comment because I know I said that I would say it.
Yes.
Right? So I'm just going to put my absolute. Well, actually, no, I got to say the whole thing because it's good. It's just gold. It's gold.
Yeah. Okay. Hurry up. Just say it.
Heartbreaking romantic tale. Which, of course, is spelled as a pun.
T-A-I-L, not T-L-A-E.
Linda and Andrew were mermaid for each other.
Oh, excellent.
Nice. My absolute favourite episode of any series that there ever was. And he's been waiting for this. Yay with an exclamation mark.
Thank you, Dungog Trip.
Nice.
Very, very good feedback.
Keep up the work. I like it.
We also have feedback from Rose Callaghan.
Who was like...
wanted to know what we were.
What is this? And we were like, hey, it's a podcast about the show, Round the Twist.
We're a podcast, Rose.
And then she's like, oh, good. She was hoping so.
So I hope that you're listening, Rose, and I hope you enjoyed the episode.
Yeah, I hope you did too. I hope you like the podcast, because it's pretty good.
Now...
But we're biased.
Yeah, I think it's pretty good.
Yeah.
We have one more piece of feedback that we'd like to discuss from a man named Christian Jaski. I think that's how you pronounce it. Apologies, Christian.
I'm going to pronounce it as Tzatziki. It's
that
not
is
spelled that way at all, but it reminds me, for some reason, of the Greek dip, which is delicious.
Okay. Well, let's not be mean to him, because he does have some criticism of our podcast.
How is it mean?
He says that our podcast is very surreal and rather philosophical and psychological. Thank you, Christian.
That's true.
That's a very nice compliment that you've left us. However, you do have issue with the subject of rape and abuse references in our podcast.
He enjoys
Tales
from the Twist.
He does enjoy our podcast. So thank you for listening, first of all. Secondly, those are issues that we both take very seriously, and we apologise if we've ever said anything lighthearted about either of those issues. Sometimes, I think, in particular, the Scarecrow episode, I think that needed to be said. I don't think that you could have
the way we
taken...
said it probably was...
Yeah.
The other thing is, like, it's hard, okay, so I think we also callously say it, I don't want to be that guy, but
what guy?
We're straight white men. I mean, we're just men, basically. So, rape to us is, we don't really hear about it or talk about it as it happening to men.
So you're saying that we're... are you saying that we're a little bit ignorant of the issue?
Yeah, I'd say we're a little bit ignorant
which
of
is
the
not,
issue.
Which is not a...
So we could use it very cavalier in the sense... And it's not an excuse, but it's... I mean, it is an excuse, but it's not a good excuse.
Well, I don't...
Or a legitimate one.
I think that we could be better on this, and I think that's something that we can work on. Because if Christian has issue with it, there's probably other listeners that have issue with it as well. We also have issue with it
too, because, like, for God's sakes, like...
We have been trying on
about it. We drone on about being libertarians, right?
Yes.
So what is more libertarian than taking away someone's freedom? And that is essentially an aspect of rape.
Yes. Actually, that's very good.
So I'm against removal of people's freedoms.
Yeah.
I hate that. That's like what I was talking about before with the dentist.
Yeah.
You know, how they were holding me down. I don't like being restricted in my freedoms. I don't like people doing that. And I hate for another person to have to experience such things, but even on a greater scale.
Yes. So what Anthony is trying to say, and what we're both trying to say, is that we're both anti that, and we're sorry if any of our comments have been against what we believe.
Yes.
In the sake of a joke or an offhanded comment. So, Christian, thank you very much for your feedback.
A great podcast. Thanks, with a smiley face to say, which was good, because it was like, hey, cool, man.
No, it's good. You know, this is why we have this part of the episode, so we can have feedback, and that is something I've said this a couple of times, but that is something we're working on. And if you have any specific examples of something that we've said in any of our episodes, feel free to shoot us a personal message.
Feedback any kind is awesome, because it also keeps us motivated.
Yes,
like, if we think, oh gosh, we don't know anybody listening, we know people are listening. We know people will find it interesting. That's what we love to hear, is that people are actually listening and like the show. Because it's like, you're not getting feedback. It's kind of like whistling into the vacuum of space. And
if we don't get criticism on points like this, maybe we weren't aware of a point.
That's fine.
Well, we were aware of this one.
Enough about it. I mean,
we were aware of this one, but maybe if there's other things that you have issue with, let us know, and we'll talk it through.
Yeah. Cool.
Anything else that we need to talk about? What did you have for lunch today?
What I had for lunch today was actually a pie from Joe, or Joe's Pie again.
Not from me, from the Joe's Pie van.
Pie. It's a guy, he's got a nice little van.
Did you already have lunch? You must have had an early lunch.
Well, I never had breakfast, because I went to the dentist straight in the morning. So I was like, well, I might as well just get an early lunch. So I had that, because, you know, support your local bakery or small business.
Yes.
You know, why not? You just do it.
Support them,
because they're kind of cool and not douchebags. They usually got some cool shit. And they're really nice about stuff too. They usually give you extra peas, because, hey, you know what? He's just running it for his own choice. He's not running it for a profit, I guess.
Well, he is running it for a profit.
Well, he is, but he's
not running it for his own profit, not somebody else's.
He's not running it for maximum efficiency. He's running it for the joy of doing it.
Well, he could probably be running it for maximum efficiency.
Yeah, he could be.
But he might just want you to be a loyal customer. If I give him a couple of extra peas now, how many extra pies am I selling?
He kind of tells me he doesn't.
Well, let's not get into the ethical business values of pie vans. I haven't had lunch today, so I don't have anything to add. So that concludes the episode.
Yes.
Thank you very much for listening, everyone. Pretty good episode.
Pretty good. I liked it.
Keep listening. Next week we'll be talking about another episode of Season 2 and Around the Twist.
Because that's what we do.
That is what we do here in Around the Twist. Tales from the Twists. My name is Joseph Lewis.
And I'm Anthony Bull.
Thank you very much for listening, and stay twisty.